Welcome to this Word of Hope for October 17th, 2022, Monday of the 29th week of Ordinary Time. I'm Father Luke Barter here at my office in St. Dominic's Parish in Denver, Colorado. It's been a few months since I've been on this Word of Hope. It's good to be back. Today we have this parable from Jesus about the rich man who stores up treasures for himself. And we need to be careful not to think that Jesus is just saying being rich is bad. There's this fundamental question that is really at the heart of all of the teachings that Jesus has, particularly when he's speaking to the Pharisees and he's talking about moral issues. And the question is, who are you really living for? That word charity that we have, charity can often just mean philanthropy or humanitarianism, but that's not what really the biblical version or word is trying to get at. Charity literally means love, and particularly love for God. It means to live for God and therefore live for others. That when we live for ourselves, which we might call, and Paul calls a lot, living in the flesh or being people of the flesh versus people of the Spirit, which is of the Spirit of God, we live half lives. And so Jesus is calling out this one person who is really preoccupied about not getting his part of the inheritance and is saying, who do you really live for? Where do you actually find your joy? Where do you think your happiness is actually going to come from? Now, we might not always find absolute pleasure in all the things that maybe we need to do to live for God. For example, sometimes church can be boring. We will try harder as priests to make it better, but nonetheless, there is something really joyful that can be gotten, truly fulfilling, a life worth living by thinking about, do I do all things for God or not? To glorify God. That's what the word glory means, St. Thomas Aquinas would say. Glory means to clarify, to make manifest God, His truth, His glory, His power, His might, His compassion, His mercy in ways that we couldn't do if it was just on our own. To live for God will impel and inform our actions in a way that maybe we couldn't consider before. That our almsgiving isn't just for us to make us feel good, but is truly because it is exactly what will build the kingdom. The common good is actually something that God wants. Are we living for ourselves or do we live for God? It's a whole different lens when we think about the moral life. So let us take today and do some of the reflections and ask, how well do I live for God in the big things and in the small things? And in what degree am I living for myself? And ask God to help purify that. I promise you, you will find joy and life, and the people around you will also find joy and life. God bless.